Hey, this is Jon Acuff. Great to see you guys. I'm going to copy and paste this and invite a bunch of other people. So I'm out of practice. I haven't done YouTube Live in a while, so I'm wicked out of practice. So I have to go in. I do this text chain where I've got like a bunch of friends that I send encouraging messages to. So now I have to go and tell them, hey, I'm on live. Let's do live Q&A. Live, we'll say video. That will help people. People will be like, whoa, video? That's amazing. Live Q&A on YouTube. Got questions? Oh, almost sent it just incomplete. Got questions? I've got answers. Hop on and let's chat. And then I'll do that. And say live Q&A on YouTube right now. Right now, I'll say I'm doing, because then it's like, who's doing it? I'm doing it. I'm doing a live Q&A on YouTube right now. Got questions, I've got answers. Hop on, let's chat. There, I just sent it. Send anyway. Boom, just invited a bunch of folks. Okay, now we get back to it. Eric Williams, great show with Dave Hollis this morning. Yeah, that's fun. It's fun to do stuff with Dave Hollis. He's become a neat friend. I met him originally doing a podcast. I was on his podcast for my book launch, and it's been fun to get to know him and interact. And he actually came to my house a few weeks ago to film something for his new book, which was pretty neat. So I was glad I got to do that. I'm drinking cold brew coffee from Kirkland. Is there anything the Kirkland brand can't do at this point? Costco, like the Costco brand. I wonder. Bag of Donuts music. Hey, great to see you again. Yeah, I haven't been doing a ton of YouTube lately because I've been super focused on my podcast. The podcast has been really, really fun. Oh, hi from Helsinki, Finland. Yeah, where are you guys watching from? That's always fun to know. Helsinki, Finland. I have not been to Scandinavia, but it's definitely on my list. Like Norway, Sweden, Finland, all the Scandinavian locations in the world I would love to go to. Judith, can't wait for the next challenge. Yeah, the next challenge is going to be a blast. I'll give you the link right now to that, acuff.me. Well, let me see it, www.acuff.me/challenge. So I'm doing a 5-day challenge. It starts this Monday. It's really simple. I teach live for an hour, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. If you can't attend live, I send you a video replay, and it's all about goal setting and goal accomplishing. It's called the Back to Challenge, about getting back to the goals you care about. Don't miss it. Okay, so we've got like 25-ish minutes. I'm going to go on a walk with my buddy Ben in a little while. So I'd love to answer questions you have. Again, acuff.me/challenge. Challenge starts Monday. Sign up will end like Monday morning because we're going to go live. It's going to be a blast. Don't miss it. Let's have some questions. All right, can I pin that? Oh, I'm going to pin that. There you go. I pinned the message. Norway for 3 years as a kid, man. Denver, Colorado. Okay, I'm saying horse therapy. Nice. What is your best advice for starting a new job and planning for 30, 60, and 90-day goals? Best advice for starting a new job. So if you already have the job, I think one of the best things I've ever learned about a job is treat it like a learning experience. Chances are you're not going to be there for 50 years. Chances are you're going to have a job after that. So I love going into a job and thinking, what can I learn at this job? Where can I serve? What can I volunteer for? How can I get more experience? How do I make sure that I really, really get to learn here? Because I think when you've got an attitude of learning, it changes how you look at stuff. You no longer, like, an attitude of learning often kills entitlement, because when somebody says, I need you to do this, you don't go, it's not my job. You go, oh, it's another thing for me to learn. Let's go. Oh, it's another thing for me to learn. Let's go. So if I started a new job tomorrow, I would go in going, I'm now in a college course called blank, like the name of this company. That's how I think about it. 30-day, 60-day, 90-day goals. So I'm actually teaching. That's one of the things I'm teaching in the Back to Challenge. So if you're curious about that, definitely sign up, because I'll talk a lot about how do you finish the last half of the year, because we've got a quarter of the year left. Like, we're on our way to October. And I think there's some really simple, fun things you can do to finish strong. Watching live from Iceland. That's what's up, Jason. Iceland is on my list. Kansas City, Missouri, congrats on your new airport. I hear it's amazing. Let's see. Oh, and awesome. So excited you're doing the challenge with us. It's going to be a blast. Tuscaloosa, Iceland. What can we expect from the goal setting challenge? Okay, Amber. Actually I'll just tell you what, like, this is the content for the week. Like, it's not, I mean, this is day one. This is day one. And I said this on Instagram, it's going to be fire when there's a binder clip. Like when your stapler can't get through the content. Like, this is my stapler, which is it's a legit stapler. Like, it's metal, it's heavy. But I had to go binder. So this is day one. And I had a lot of fun this week showing people, like, most people, when you do an online challenge, are like, oh, it's going to be like 92% sales. Like, have any of you guys done a webinar? And don't say the name of the person, because no hate on these videos. You've done a challenge, you've done a webinar, and you go on, you're like, oh, it's going to be amazing content. And it's like 99% sales pitch and 1% real content. So what I did was I highlighted everywhere I'm going to mention something you can buy. This is the content. This is what I'm going to be teaching, which also tells you I'm not getting on and winging it. Like, I'm winging today. Today is like, hey, it's casual. When I do a challenge, like, I know exactly where I'm going. But here, this is page 1. I'm looking for blue. If you see highlighted blue, oh, something I'm selling. That's something for sale. Okay. You seeing content? Look at all the content. Look at all the content. It's just content, constant content. Oh my gosh. How much? John, we get it. This is overwhelming. This is like when that kid fought that other kid in Christmas Story. You're like, stop it. And then some blue. Look, blue right there. So that's a lot of content, very little sales pitch. So what you're going to learn, day one, there's a 2-word formula that I use to maximize results. I used to think results were all about ability, but there's another word that's really important and nobody talks about it. Day 2, which is Tuesday, I'll teach you the 4 questions you can ask to prioritize your to-do list. Like, here's my to-do list for this week, and there are 4 questions that I ask at the beginning of the week that help me prioritize. The third thing I'll teach you on Wednesday are 4 soundtracks. 4 new thoughts that'll help you figure out how to be more successful. 3 of them are related. They're like the 3 amigos. 1 is a question. Day 4, we're going to talk about comparison. I think one of the most toxic things in the modern world is comparison. It's impossible to work on your own goal and your own life if you're constantly comparing yourself to other people. Here's the bad thing about comparison. You're never done. You're never done with comparison. If you get stuck in comparison, there's always somebody above you, somebody better than you, someone further ahead than you. You just keep, like, it's a race that never ends. And my example is, I've been very fortunate to have readers like you, readers who are so kind, who read my books, who buy my stuff, who watch YouTube videos, who listen to my podcast. And I feel very fortunate to have the success I've had with my books. You can see them on the shelf. But there will always be an author who's been more successful. And if I get stuck comparing myself to them, wow, it's miserable. If I get stuck comparing myself to other people, I miss all the stuff that I've been fortunate to be a part of. I do. I can't see any of it. None of it's enough. And I was reminded of this. I was on Ian Morgan Cron. I think it's Cron. Ian Morgan Cron's podcast. He wrote this book called Back to You, sold 1 million copies. And when I was sitting there in his studio, and it was very easy to think, oh, this dude sold so many more books. Like, he sold so many more books than me. And I could get really stuck on comparison in that moment. But if I do that, I miss all the fun that I've had in my career. I miss all the joy. I miss, like, I wrote this book soundtracks, and you guys have said the kindest things about it. Like, this is fun to me. And if I focus on Ian, I miss that. So day 4 is about comparison. Day 5 is the most important person you need to know for your big goals. And I'm going to teach you the 3 qualities they have, the 2 questions you should ask them, and the 1 thing they'll always give you. So that's what you'll learn. Okay, what shoes am I wearing today? I love that question. These are trail shoes. When I got them, I couldn't tell if they were super ugly or not. I'll just take them off. I was like, are these the ugliest shoes in the world? Like, I think they might be, but then they kind of grew on me. Like, the color scheme is just ridiculous. My 7-year-old niece the other day said, your shoes look like cookies and cream ice cream on the bottom. I think it's really a mint ice cream, but these are the shoes I'm wearing, and I love them. The trail shoes, Gore-Tex, for all the times that I'm stepping in water. All right. How do you make time for rest, Jamie? I have to turn things off. I have to turn my computer off. I have to turn my phone off. I have to leave my phone in other rooms. But I also am deliberate about it. Sometimes I find that if I don't make the thing a goal, I won't do it. So here's an example. Everyone on here to some degree is great at attending meetings. More than likely, your job has meetings, things you have to show up for at a certain time. So we do all this to schedule meetings for our work life and then hope our family lives happen organically, like jazz, like just come together. So if I'll schedule stuff, whether it's rest, whether it's a date night with my wife, whether it's throwing Frisbee with my daughter, it tends to happen. Stuff I'm deliberate about happens. Stuff that I'm casual about tends to not. Life gets busy. Let's see. These are some great questions. Ed Burton, lots of 4s, lots of 3s. It's true. I like numbered lists. I think my brain works in lists. Let's see. I'm trying to go back up to the beginning. You guys asked such great questions. Margaret E., can you do a challenge for a week just on writing? So I'm thinking about doing one on creativity, which would involve writing. I'm thinking about doing one like that shares my system of how I do things. And then I'll tell you a little sneak peek. I'm launching something next Wednesday, and one of the lessons is my 3-part creativity system. I use a very deliberate creativity system that changed my ability to get stuff done. I'll tell you right now, no one is accidentally prolific. No one is accidentally prolific. Like every creative I've ever worked with has systems, and I'm going to share mine, and it involves some writing. That's next week. Jamie, you sign up for the challenge at acuff.me/challenge. My last name, .me/challenge, 100% free. There's a VIP backstage that you can do, but you don't have to do that to do all 5 days of the lessons, all 5 hours of the content. So 100% free. Kyle Clark was a reader of my manuscript for Quitter. Thank you for doing that. That's been a long time, dude. Let's see. I'm scrolling back up. You guys are asking great questions. Okay. Let's see. Starting a virtual administration business, and I'm trying to determine my niche. Any advice on how to focus? So, Anne, I find when it comes to finding niches, self-awareness is the key. You have to know yourself in order to find your niche. So pay attention to what you like, what you're good at, what people ask your help with. Like, pay attention to the self-awareness side of you, okay? It's almost like, what's my owner's manual? Because once you understand that, you can go find the right place. Sometimes we try to find the place before we try to find ourselves, and we get stuck. So you might be an amazing Ferrari. You might be an amazing submarine. But if you try to put a submarine in the desert or a Ferrari in the ocean, it doesn't work. Advice for finding a new job. What resources do you suggest, Judith? The big thing is relationships. I had a conversation with a friend 2 days ago, maybe 3 days ago, about finding a new job. And I kept telling, and he was like disappointed, discouraged by the AI resume sorters that kind of were sorting him out of positions. And I still think so much of it is relationships. So much of it is relationships. So if it was me, I would make a deliberate list of the people I knew. I would focus on network. I talk about that that's Do-Over right there. I do a bunch of chapters on relationships and Do-Over. It's my career book. That's one I check out. Pastor Peyton, John, you've hinted at creating a podcast episode about this. What's your method for capturing ideas? Then how do you organize and reference these ideas later? Yeah, so I have a whole lesson I'm doing on that, probably in like 4 weeks as part of a course. I went ahead, I wrote it. It's week 3 of the content. I think I teach it in October. If you want more info about that, acuff.me/challenge. But yeah, it's a huge, it's 20 pages of me going, these are the 3 steps I use. So definitely check that out. Lisa Gordon, super random, but can you talk about your kids being able to dislike one food at a time, and how do you initially implement that? So we give our kids what we call food amnesty. our kids at a very early age got to pick one food that they never had to eat. Like they had complete food amnesty, and they could be like, I don't want to eat this. Ellie, my oldest daughter, she was like, oh, tomatoes or mushrooms. Like she really wanted it, and she went with mushrooms. And so that our rule is she can refuse mushrooms forever. But if she tries to add another food, she has to eat 10 mushrooms. You can change all you want, but you have to eat 10 mushrooms to start the new one. And so it's hilarious because there've been times when like we'd have tomatoes and mushrooms in a meal, and Ellie'd be like, okay. But we've all met people, like we've all met adults who eat like only chicken fingers, like 45-year-olds who you're like, hey, let's go get sushi. Like, and sushi might be a bad example because a lot of people don't like sushi, but you say, hey, let's go to this seafood restaurant. They go, no, I only eat chicken fingers. And I always tell people, if you want a kind 16-year-old, teach a 6-year-old kindness and give them 10 years of practice. You want a 45-year-old who doesn't demand that they only eat chicken fingers, like help them build a palate as a kid. We're not like doing crazy foods with our kids, but we wanted to be really fun and really deliberate about it. That's how it works. Let's see, is doubt, fear the same as overthinking? No, I don't think it is. I really don't. I think that there's overlap. I think in the Venn diagram of emotions that can be challenging for you, maybe it's fear and doubt and stress. Like I think there's a variety of them, but I don't think they're all the same because I think we're more unique than that. I think we're more multifaceted than that as people. Ooh, key to ending well at a job. I had a friend end a job today. I just called him to encourage him. And we talked about the difference between burning down a bridge and building the bridge even stronger when you leave. So one way to end a job well is to give them plenty of time before you leave. Hey, I'm going to, in a month, I'm going to leave. In 3 weeks, I'm going to leave. Not like, hey, I'm leaving tomorrow. Another is don't gossip and gripe about the company before you leave. 2 weeks, a month before you leave. Don't be the guy that's the storm cloud in a break room. Those are two really simple ways. Just open a pharmacy and what's your idea? Philip, open a pharmacy and what's your ideas on ways to market it to the community? Ooh, that's a great question. I've never marketed a pharmacy, but I'm assuming that it's like a lot of things. It's relationship. It's probably relationship. It's probably convenience. It's probably consistent messaging. Something I always tell people is average, consistent content beats amazing, inconsistent content. So what I mean by that, Philip, is you going like, we created this amazing thing, and then you only tell people about it once, doesn't work. Even if all you're doing is in an average way, consistently sharing your content, that sticks longer. Now, the real win is amazing, consistent content. But I think a big part of marketing anything is consistency. That's why this week I've been talking a lot about acuff.me/challenge. 5-day challenge called the Back to Challenge. It's 100% free. I think you'll really like it. It's like free 5 event. It's like 5 free events. Like I've been sharing that consistently, because the only one who sees everything I share is me. Like I'm the only one. Most of you probably haven't even heard of the Back to Challenge. Like it's my job. It's not your job. Here's the thing, Philip. I tell this to like whenever I get to speak to a corporation's like sales team, I remind them, no one outside of this room is thinking about you. Like no one outside of a sales room is thinking, oh, I can't wait to see what they learn. It's our job to think about our clients. It's our job to think about the people we're servicing. And that's true for you, Philip. No one is thinking about your new pharmacy. It's your job to think about those patients. Okay. So I was with Sam's for 24 years. I left for 3 years. Now I'm back, but they think I'm new. How can I say I'm not new without being offensive or rude? So yeah, I think you just like, this is a chance for you to practice humility, and it's never fun to practice humility, but it is. So some things changed in the last 3 years. I guarantee some things changed in the last 3 years. So Bag of Donuts music, if it were me, I would focus on learning on the things that changed over the last 3 years. And then I would come up with a new soundtrack, because it'd be easy in your situation to go in and go have this broken soundtrack that's like, I know what I'm doing. I've been here. I was here for 24 years. Like that'd be easy. Instead, write a new one that's like, there's things for me to learn. 3 years is a long time. Like 3 years is a long time. There's new things for me to learn. Like I'm new here. Like I would work on things like that. I have a book written, but feel weird about publishing it. How do you overcome this? Andrew, I would overcome it in community. I think sometimes we think we have to do it on our own. I would overcome it in community. So I would find one friend in my life that would help hold me accountable to publishing it. Here's why I know that's helpful. If you've had it written for 3 months, 6 months, a year, whatever, and you haven't done it, then just admit, I'm going to have somebody help me. I'm going to, whether that's you hire a business coach, whether that's you ask a friend that you're close with, I would have a friend help me get it over the finish line. Let's see. I'm a guy that's got ADHD, but the way it's a gift, trying to find the organizer, either iPhone or app or booklet that helps you with your system. Yeah, I mean, I have a system I like to use. I'll talk about that in more detail in acuff.me/challenge next week because it's one of the lessons. But for me, again, I think it's about figuring out how you work best. Like one of the ways that I work best is having this. Like having this little whiteboard. It's a quartet whiteboard. I really like it. It's got everything. It's big enough that I can put things down, but not so big that I overwhelm myself by putting so many things. So I think whether you've got ADHD or not, it's about figuring out kind of how you work best and then continually kind of turning the dials. Let's see. Ryan, will the challenge be the same time each day? It will, every day from 12 to 1 p.m. Central. And then we'll send you the video replays. What's up? Okay, David, can't wait to jump into the challenge. David and Katie Skelton, I wonder if they're married and they're in the same house. How do you overcome the day 5 to 8 doldrums when the excitement is worn off, but the finish line is still a ways away? I'll tell you how I do it. Post-it notes. You see this post-it notes backwards, right? It says 35 to 58. So I had a 93-day challenge that I've been working on. 93 days. And I've done it already. I did it already once. Like, see here? It says 0 to 93. That means one day I wrote 93 here and 0 here, and every day I changed it. So right now, I've been doing it for 58 days in a row. I've got 35 days left. So for me, little things like that, it's not a lot. It's not complicated. Every morning I get up and I write my new day and I throw away the old one. And it keeps me motivated to go, I can do this. And I already did it. Let's see. How do I sign up? Let's see. What's your favorite resource for discovering what job positions are good fits for varied skill sets and prior? My favorite resource. I think the classic is What Color is Your Parachute? I think that's a book that's helped a lot of people figure out their skill sets. So yeah, What Color is Your Parachute is definitely a good one. OG Start Experiment, awesome, from Southern California. Do you have fun over the weekend at the football game? 100%. Let's see. What was a coupon code for the backstage? The backstage is $37, so there's no coupon. It's $37 for 5 days of group coaching. So like, if anything, I have business coaches that are like, why are you undervaluing your time? And I'm like, 5 hours, $37. That means like, what's that, like $8 an hour? Okay, well, how do I? So there's no coupon code because it's already a super value, Lady Fox. Let's see. Ooh. How did it feel to start on my own and not have a steady income? Yeah, Debbie, you're allowed to make money off your expertise. Thank you. And I do. You saw the blue, like the VIP backstage, and then I'm doing something next Wednesday that like I think is something I'm going to do every year. Like I've been working on something else every year that I think I'm going to do. But thank you for saying that, David Marshall. So great questions. Oh my gosh, so many good questions. We need to do another one of these. I'm a 7, but I come off as a 3. That's apparently what I am. 5th challenge, awesome. I got burned by a self-publisher. Let's see. Jacob, this is a great question. I'm divorced and feel insecure about a new relationship. What soundtrack should I tell myself? So Jacob, here's the thing, dude. Like, one, I'm sorry, man. Like, divorce is so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard. It's so hard on so many levels. It's so hard. So one, I'm sorry. That's never fun for anybody to go through. Second thing is, I encourage you to come up with a lot of soundtracks. Anyone right now that feels stuck, that feels frustrated, that just went through a divorce, that lost their job, that had a COVID situation. Don't think of it as one soundtrack. Think of it as a bunch of soundtracks. How do I come up with a bunch of soundtracks? Get creative with it. The first thing I'd say, Jacob, is borrow from other people. So I have a chapter in the book Soundtracks about borrowing from other people. What do I mean by that? I mean, don't sit down with a blank piece of paper. Talk to people, read great books, listen to music you love, like go on this creative hunt to go, okay, how am I going to add soundtracks to this? Because, you might sit down with a piece of paper and go, I feel overwhelmed. You might sit down with it and go, I get to be happy again. Maybe that's a soundtrack. Maybe that's a soundtrack for you. Like you've gone through a divorce. There's a party right now going, it was all my fault. I'm an idiot. It fell apart. I'll never find another person. Like broken soundtracks travel in absolutes. They'll always say never. I'll never get remarried. I'll never have another relationship. I'll never write my book. I'll always be alone, whatever. So if you hear something like that, that's a broken soundtrack. So maybe one you write down is, I get to be happy again, or I'll meet somebody else. Like maybe those are two. Again, I don't know the uniqueness of your situation, but those are two that I would tell anyone that's gone through a divorce that feels like they're never going to have a new relationship, because that's just not true. Like there's too many. Here's the thing. There's too many people on the planet for you not to have another relationship. There just are. Like have you been around the planet? There's like 7 billion people. People are everywhere. Like they're everywhere. Great questions today, guys. Registration for the course closes Monday, or challenge. It's a challenge. Closes Monday morning because we're going to start Monday at noon. So don't sleep on it. Don't sleep. This is your chance. Like don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it. Don't sleep on it. ACUP.me/challenge. I'm probably not going to do this challenge again until next September. So once it closes, we're going to close it for a year because I want to do it in the next 5 days. And I think it's well timed for September. So I'm not going to do it again until next September. That is me fast forwarding a year. That's the sound you make when you fast forward a year. So don't miss it. It's going to be another year. Guys, thanks for watching today. Hope you have a great weekend. And I'll see a bunch of y'all Monday at noon. See you guys.